about what are the articles, and now I will read about two articles, Article 32 and 226, and then we will go to amending the amendment of the Constitution, and then the time framework of the Constitution. So what is the difference between Article 32 and 226? The Article 32 says the right to move the Supreme Court by appropriate proceedings for the enforcement of the rights conferred by this part is guaranteed. So, under Article 32, Clause 1, every citizen of the country, they can approach the Honorable Supreme Court for enforcement of his rights. Then the Honorable Supreme Court has got power to issue directions or writs or orders, including writs in the nature of habeas corpus, mandamus, prohibition, quo warranto, and certiorari, whichever may be appropriate for the enforcement of any of the rights conferred by that part. The right guaranteed by this chart shall not be suspended. So the Parliament also is not empowered to suspend this right. You know about adding of how these articles have come into existence, about the emergency and all that. You can read about it. Then Article 226. Article 226 says, this is also similar article like Article 32, but this is the power of the High Court, Honorable High Court. Notwithstanding anything, in Article 32, every High Court shall have powers throughout the territories in relation to which it exercise jurisdiction to issue any person or authority, including in appropriate cases, any government within those territories, directions, orders, or writs, including writs in the nature of habeas corpus, mandamus, prohibition, quo warranto, and certiorari, or any of them. This is important. You please read. For what purpose? For the enforcement of any of the rights conferred by Part 3, and for any other purpose. And for any other purpose. Not only for enforcement of the rights of the citizens under Part 3. Part 3 deals with fundamental rights. So Article 32, you can approach the Supreme Court directly for enforcement of your rights under Part 3. So far as the High Court is concerned, not only for enforcement of rights in Part 3, that is fundamental rights, but also for any other purposes. So the powers of the High Court are wider. It is not merely meant for only for enforcement of the fundamental rights, even for enforcement of any other rights for any other purpose, you can approach the Honorable High Court. With this, now already we discussed about Article 21 and 19. Just a glance we'll have, and then we'll go to Article 14 and then amendment. So we'll see. You know, Article 21, we at length discussed previously about Article 21, but still just for keeping in view of the happening about 14 days back, first lecture, we'll see what is this Article 21. The Indian Constitution is known as a living document. I have been telling about this to you because it is not static and ever evolving, and having survived after 103 amendments and still moving ahead to match up the needs and requirements of the society. So needs and requirements of the society has to be taken into consideration, and then the word life in Article 21 is more than mere animal existence. It embraces within itself not only the physical existence but also the quality of life. The expression personal liberty not only means freedom from arrest, detention, and false or wrongful confinement, but also covers those rights and privileges that are essential to achieve happiness with freedom. So we have read, already discussed, right from the case A.K. Gopalan versus State of Madras, AR 1950, SC 27, about Preventive Detention Act 1950. When A.K. Gopalan was arrested, the court did consider whether there is a law and due process, and that when Article 21 is complied with, when there is a law, the arrest is legal. But later the Honorable Supreme Court developed the case law and finally held that all different types of rights, we read about all these things: right to live with human dignity, right to livelihood, right to education, right of prisoners and right against illegal detention, right to legal aid and right to speedy trial, right against sexual harassment at workplace, right to choice of sex, right to clean environment, right to privacy, right to die with dignity, right to disclosure of dreadful diseases, right to choose life partner. All these rights are held as a right to life or right to personal liberty. With this, I think we need not again discuss about Article 21. This is enough. Now we'll see what is Article 19, which we read previously and discussed. The Constitution of India declares the fundamental rights of for individuals under Part 3, Articles 12 to 35. Some of these rights are only for the citizens, whereas others are available equally to the non-citizens also. So you know what are those rights. And Article 19, we dealt with at length. Media trial. I said media trial is not possible. Media trial is not permissible. All these things we discussed. Now, only thing we left is Article 14. Article 14, while reading Article 14, we have to understand the meaning of the word law. Right to equality. What do you mean by right to equality? Right to equality need no explanation because it tells its meaning itself, and the it is one of our fundamental right. But hidden points which are needed to be explained are there. What are those hidden points? What are the highlights in these words right to equality? In India, the Indian law is that right to equality under Article 14 is given to every citizen of this country and not non-citizens also. It's a fundamental right. It gives a guarantee to every person the right to equality before law and equal protection of the laws. It is not only right of Indian citizens but also right of non-citizens also. This question they may ask in your exams or in the interview, whether a non-citizen has got right to equality or guarantee of equality before law. Definitely you have to say that it is there for all citizens and non-citizens, because the state article uh, Article 14 defines no one is above the law, all are equal in eye of law. It says that the state shall not deny to any person equality before the law. Meaning of the right to equality, this means that every person who lives within territory of India has the equal right before the law. The meaning of this, all are equal in the same line. No discrimination based on religion, race, caste, sex, and place of birth. It means that all will be treated as equally among equal, and there will be no discrimination based on lower or higher class. So place of birth, caste, sex, religion, race, they are all not grounds. What we have to see is, in fact, Dicey explained the concept of legal equality as it operated in England said, with us every official from the Prime Minister down to constable or a collector of taxes is under the same responsibility for every act done without any legal justification as any other citizen. So all are equal. Either he is a prime minister or a constable, all are equal. The phrase equality of law find a place in all written constitutions that guarantees fundamental rights. So if you look at this right of equality in any other country constitution, you will find the same. All inhabitants of the republic are assured equality before the laws. Honorable Justice Pitanjali Sastry has expressed that, in fact, the second expression is corollary of the first, and it is difficult to imagining a situation in which the violation of laws will not be the violation of equality. Before law says, thus, in substance, the two expressions mean one and same thing. What are those two expressions in Article 14? I'll read for the sake and benefit of all of us. What is this Article 14? What are the two expressions? Article 14 says, Sir, చెప్పండి. రండి. Article 14 says, equality before law. The state shall not deny to any person equality before the law or the equal protection of the laws within the territory of India. Within the territory of India means any person, whether citizen or non-citizen, if he is living or he is there within the territory of India, he must be treated like any person, any citizen, and equality before the law or equal protection of the laws shall not be denied to him. So, equal protection of law. Equal protection of law has been given in Article 14, which has been taken from Section 1 of the 14th Amendment Act of the Constitution of the United States. So these words, equal protection of law, in fact, is there in the American Constitution 14th Amendment Act in Section 1. So that is adopted by us. Each person within the territory of India will get equal protection of laws. The Honorable Supreme Court held it is a positive obligation on the state to ensure equal protection of laws, and nobody is denied such protection. If the state leaves the existing inequalities untouched laws by its laws, it fails in its duty of providing equal protection of its laws to all persons. State will provide equal protection to all the people of India who are citizens of India and as well as non-citizens of India. Here, this right of equality is also treated as recognized as one of the basic features of the Constitution. We'll understand in another 5 minutes or 10 minutes what are the basic features of the Constitution and all that. This rule of law has been understood and said law is equal for all in same line. Because the state have no religion, all are equal in the same line, and uniformity will be applied for all. Every organ of the state under the Constitution of India is regulated and controlled by the rule of law. So you have to understand what is rule of law. Rule of law means law is above all. equal law should be applied to all in the same situation. So this is what rule of law. Unless and until we understand what is rule of law, we will not be able to go further and understand this equality class. Implied equality for equals and aims at striking down hostile discrimination or oppression of inequality. So treating equals equally, treating unequals unequally is the justice or concept under Article 14 of ensuring equality before law. So rule of law is the basic feature of the Constitution. Then we have got Article 361. It says that the president or the governor or Raj Pramukh of a state shall not be answerable to any court for the exercise and performance of the powers and the duties of his office or for any act done or purporting to be done by him in the exercise and performance of those powers and duties. So again it says that while president or governor or Raj Pramukh exercising his powers or discharging his duties, he shall not be answerable. This is an exception to equality before law. Article 361. With this, now we will go to the next part of our class, that is what is basic structure of the Constitution and why this basic structure of the Constitution concept is developed, and then what is called amendment of the Constitution. We discussed at the beginning of the class that now we are having 448 articles, 25 parts and 12 schedules. At the beginning of the Constitution, when Constitution is framed in 1950, we were having only 385 articles and 8 schedules. So due to these amendments and case laws, several articles are added and several schedules are added by way of amendments. What is amendment? What is basic structure of the Constitution? We will have to understand, and how this particular article for amendment of the Constitution is really came into existence. Then while considering it, what are the types of amendments also we have to understand. In fact, for IAS exam, sometimes these questions are asked. When you see Article 368 of the Indian Constitution, there are several types of amendments to the Indian Constitution. One type of amendment is by a special majority of the Parliament. What do you mean by Parliament? Parliament includes Lok Sabha and Raj Sabha. Both put together is Parliament. Only Lok Sabha is not Parliament. Lok Sabha and Raj Sabha, both put together we can claim as Parliament. The second type of amendment is by a special majority of the Parliament with the ratification of half of the total states. So you must get a majority in Parliament, and also ratification must be there by half of the total states. Types of amendments comes under the Indian polity syllabus, and you have to necessarily read and understand what is Article 368, which is there in part 20 of the Indian Constitution. And unless and until we understand this Article 368 and correctly and closely, we will not be able to understand the Constitution at all. So we can in total, consider there are three ways in which the constitution can be amended. First is amendment by simple majority of the parliament. If there is, for certain amendments, if there is simple majority, then that amendment is law. Simple majority where in parliament. Parliament means both Lok Sabha and Raj Sabha. So certain articles in the constitution can be amended by a simple majority. This is one type of amendment. Other type of amendment is special majority of the parliament. So for amending some articles, there must be special majority. Maybe 2/3, sometimes not simple majority, 2/3 majority or like that is there. There is one more amendment. That amendment is amendment by a special majority of the parliament and the ratification of at least half of the state legislatures. So there are certain articles or certain provisions in the constitution which can be amended by a simple majority of the two houses of the parliament. They are outside the scope of Article 368. What are these provisions? We can just one or two I will explain. Quorum in parliament or salaries and allowances of the members of parliament, such type of as admission or establishment of a new states, these type of subjects by a simple majority in the parliament, you can make amendment. Next, by special majority of parliament, the majority of the provisions in the constitution need to be amended by a special majority of the parliament, that is a majority that is more than 50% of the total membership of each house and a majority of two-thirds of the members of each house present and voting. Two types. You have to calculate. Suppose let us say there are 600 MPs. More than 50% means 301 persons must vote for an amendment. Likewise, two-thirds of the present parliament, member of parliaments present in the sitting in the parliament. Some persons may not attend the parliament. Leave them. So there must be more than 301 and also two-thirds of the persons attended the parliament. Let us say 400 persons attended it. What 300 persons, 500 persons, 450 persons attended. Then what do you mean by two-thirds? You have to calculate. So simple majority must be there, and also majority of two-thirds of the members of each house present and voted. The special majority is required only for voting at the third reading stage of the bill. But by way of abundant caution, the requirement of the special majority has been provided for in the rules of the houses in respect of all the effective stages of the bill. The provisions which can be amended by this way include fundamental rights, directive principles of state policy, and all other provisions which are not covered by the first and third categories. So you have to understand while reading an article whether this particular article can be amended just by simple majority of the parliament or not. That is one type of amendment. There are other type of amendments where special majority means more than 50% of the total number of parliaments elected, and then two-thirds of the member of parliaments attended and voted on that particular day. So particular day means on the date of voting. Suppose a bill discussion may be there 3 or 4 days. Finally, when it goes for vote, there must be simple majority of more than 50% of the total members of the parliament, and also 2/3 of the persons sitting in the parliament. These two things must be there. Then that is special majority. By special majority of parliament and consent of the states, I said half of the states must give an ratification for certain amendments. For example, you want to amend a provision relating to election of the president and its manner, or extent of the executive power of the union and the states, or Supreme Court and High Courts. This you can amend by a special majority of the parliament, and consent of the states must be there. So types of amendment in the Indian Constitution is an important topic. You must necessarily understand, and you must also understand the process. So Article 368 of the Constitution, it discusses about how to make amendments. An amendment of the Constitution can be initiated only by the introduction of a bill for the purpose in either House of Parliament and not in the state legislatures. So you must introduce the bill either in Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha, not in the state legislatures. Then this bill can be introduced by whom? Please tell by whom? It can be introduced, a bill can be introduced by a minister or by a private member and does not require prior permission of the president. So anybody can initiate a bill. The bill must be passed in each house by a special majority, that is a majority, that is more than 50% of the total membership of the house, and a majority of the 2/3 of the members of the house present and voting, and each house must pass the bill separately. In case of a disagreement between the two houses, there is no provision for holding a joint sitting of the two houses for the purpose of deliberation and passage of the bill. If the bill seeks to amend the federal provisions of the Constitution, it must also be ratified by the legislatures of half of the states by simple majority. That way, there are several types of amendments under Article 368, and there is a separate and proper procedure. These questions are definitely asked in UPSC 2021. The candidates who are preparing for this UPSC 2021 definitely must focus on this topic of amendments and read Article 368 and understand what is simple majority, what is special majority, then what is the ratification done to be done by the half of the states. Then we have to understand what are the basic features of the Constitution and what is Article 368. What are the basic features? We discussed several times. Basic features of the Constitution is supremacy of the Constitution. That is rule of law. That means the law is above all. Welfare state, we discussed about socio-economic justice. This is one of the basic features of the Constitution. Then principle of equality. Then what is there in preamble is basic structure. Sovereign, democratic, republic, nature of the Indian polity. Judicial review, free and fair elections, the secular character of the Constitution, rule of law, effective access to justice, harmony and balance between fundamental rights and directive principles, then reasonableness. Reasonableness is also basic structure of the Constitution. The present position of law is Parliament under Article 368 can amend any part of the Constitution, including the fundamental rights, but without affecting the basic structure of the Constitution. But Supreme Court is not yet finally clarified and clearly held what constitutes the basic structure of the Constitution. So several things are added under the guise or under the heading of basic features. These basic features you cannot amend. It has been clarified by the Honorable Supreme Court that being part of the Constitution, the preamble can be subjected to constitutional amendment exercised under Article 368. However, the basic structure cannot be altered. Therefore, it is considered as the heart and soul of the Constitution. So, basic structure of the Constitution is heart and soul. You can't amend any part if the amendment is amending the basic structure of the Constitution. But so far as preamble is concerned, in respect of preamble, it is held that preamble is also part of the Constitution. The preamble also can be amended. Madam Shailaja Garu. Madam Shailaja.
Yes, sir.
Madam, except the case laws of basic structure of the Constitution,
Ah,
the rest of it I said. So
yes,
there are
sir.
only, today we
Yeah.
can discuss about answering any questions.
Yes, sir. Yes,
If
sir.
they want case laws on basic structure, like case one and the bar, another thing, next class we will have.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Today,
sir.
let them ask any questions, anybody.
Ah. Any doubts, students? Hello?
These three subjects which we today discussed,
Ah.
definitely questions will be put in UPSC 2000.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Very important subject.
Yeah, about the equality, about the who are not the citizens of the country. Such questions are.
How to amend the Constitution,
Ah.
whether preamble is part of the Constitution,
Yeah, yeah.
what is simple majority, what is special majority, what is special majority with the ratification of half of the states.
Yes,
These
sir.
things we discussed today.
Yeah.
And we also discussed about happenings in the Supreme Court, latest three decisions. Anybody, if you are having any doubts, you please ask.
I think so. They will go through it, sir. Padma?
Sir, I have a question. So that
Okay,
right to
madam.
equality is applicable to
And only case laws, if they are interested for any case laws, we can have the class some other day, because we can't finish case laws on constitution amendments in one class.
Sir,
If they are having any doubts, they can ask.
Hello?
Sir, am I audible?
Yeah, little louder, Padma.
Hello, sir, am I audible?
I am able to hear you.
Yeah. Sir, I have a
Please
question.
ask.
Yeah.
You are most welcome.
Yeah. Article 14 is for citizens and non-citizens of India, right, sir?
Yeah,
So Article 14, right to equality is for citizens and non-citizens.
it is not citizens or not. It is for the persons who are living in the territory of India. He may be a citizen or non-citizen. He must live in India.
So if someone from other country visit to India, so they stay only for few days, right? For those also it is applicable.
Yeah, suppose somebody comes as a tourist,
Yeah.
and he goes to Jammu and Kashmir. He can claim that I am now living in India with a visa, so please protect me. I am entitled for equal protection of me before all laws in India. He is entitled. He has got fundamental right.
Thank you, sir.
Is doubt clear?
Yes, sir.
Why he got that right, even though he is not citizen? Because the article says living in the territory of India.
Yeah. Now I understand, sir, what you mean by living in India.
Yeah, very good question. Important question. Next, anybody?
Sir,
Please.
apart from these articles, so can you explain us like what is the difference between question hour and the 0 hour, sir?
Question hour, 0 hour, they are about the procedure
Parliament.
Procedure of parliament or assembly, how they conduct, that is a very lengthy question. It takes a lot of time. Next time
Okay.
I will explain to you, because the thing is, question hour, you put some questions and send it them beforehand. So they prepare and come. They prepare and get the statistics and answer to that. That is question hour, generally speaking. Then there are certain questions generally immediately happens. Suppose something happens outside, somebody died due to certain reason. You can't expect beforehand preparation of a question and putting it and all that. Next time I will be able to tell you. It takes 10-15 minutes time.
Yes, sir.
About
When I was going through Parliament scrutiny, these topics were included on that. So I am just asking how 0 hour and business this
Yeah,
question hour will work.
see, there are certain other laws about how to conduct the parliament. Just now I said there is no need to keep sitting of Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha together for getting a majority. So both houses shall sit separately and both houses shall pass majority differently. Then outcome of it will be taken. This is a procedure. And while conducting Rajya Sabha or parliament or assembly, the speaker has some power, regulation. While regulating it, there is some other laws. There are some other laws, procedures. Suppose yesterday, what has happened? What has happened? Do you remember what happened? The Chief Minister of the Delhi, while a conference is going on, he asked some questions. There is in-house procedure. What is the in-house procedure? When all states or chief ministers are talking to the Prime Minister, those things, the subject matter shall not come out in video type. But unfortunately, the Chief Minister of Delhi, he came out and gave video. So this procedure is questioned. Then he explained that I am sorry. He expressed he is sorry. Then it is accepted. So certain procedures, question hour, 0 hour, then marshals removing, suspending. This is all the procedure for conducting Rajya Sabha or Lok Sabha assembly by the speakers.
Okay, sir.
I will recommend and send you the acts which deal with.
Okay, sir. Okay.
And also there is one chapter in Constitution also. Procedure
Ah.
of conducting of meetings in the Parliament. Sessions, not meetings, sessions. We call it as session. There is one chapter, the power of speaker, power of governor. Suppose budget time. These are the powers. That is a separate topic. It takes a lot of time. President powers. In fact, I have one important subject to be discussed with you. Like now, all the persons above 18 years will be given